Okay. Hey guys, so we are live. Welcome back to another interview on this channel. I was lucky enough to have uh, my guest right to my right. Um, basically, he was able to make some time. His very busy schedule to speak with us today. So thank you very much for that. And so let's do the first part of the interview. So the first part is where I basically asked the guest, which is you in this case, to introduce themselves for a little bit. You don't have to
Oh,
talk for a long time. Just say your name, occupation, where you're from, and for the ladies watching, are you Korean or not?
I am, and I'm like the first gen. I don't know if it's first or second generation, but I've moved to California, like Silicon Valley of San Jose, like because of my dad's work when I was like in when I was in like fifth grade. So I'm fluent in Korean and English.
Hmm. Okay, awesome. And if I read your profile correctly, you're in the military. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. The
Mm,
U.S. Army.
that's wonderful. How did you get involved with that?
Well, so it all happened during the pandemic, like when I used to deliver mail and packages to the recruiting center, and then at first, like I wasn't too interested. Like when the recruiters, when as soon as they came out of the door to get the package, like they um just saying, we need guys as young as you, come join us right now. Like you don't need to think about it. It took it took me a long time to think about it, and then like, well, I ju- when I did some research, like the army has some like really generous benefits, and doing some like getting exercise and staying fit is like good for my health, and had the medical occupation, like they offered like a medical job open. So and I wanted to get into like like a medical field. So and so I started basic training on January of last year, 2021, and I got to my first duty station on January in Fort Hood in Texas.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you for your service.
Mhm.
That's awesome.
Our pleasure.
Um, So this is interesting, right? So now that we're sort of on that topic, and obviously, I'm sure you're well aware of what's going on overseas, is the whole, Russia invading Ukraine. Um,
Yes.
so I originally was obviously not going to ask this question because I didn't even know it would come up. But what are your thoughts on that? Since you are, you yourself are, in the army, and you know what I mean. But at the same time, you're not. It's not like the troops have been sent overseas or anything like that. And basically, the U.S. So far is not going to war. But what are your thoughts on that?
Well, as a service member, like I was kind of like worried about like if that there's been like rumors about like there's gonna be World War III and all that, but well, I mean, not none of the war after World War II like made it into World War III. Like no, it, it's like Vietnam War didn't, war in Iraq and Afghanistan didn't, so, and then even if our president like Biden like wants to wants to draft us, I mean, it's not going to be an easy decision. So it's still like the chances are still very low for us to be involved in the war. But it it's like I it, either way, it's like I just think like the Putin Vladimir Putin is like just I don't know what's in his mind, but like he's like just taking things like too far right now. And
Mm-hmm.
then
Yeah, no, absolutely. And so now that you're, thank you for that, by the way. I know it's a kind of very sensitive topic for everyone. By
it's
the way,
all good.
okay. But I just had a question. So, since we've been talking about it, so, the possibility of a draft, right? The possibility of, you know
Yep.
what I mean? Like for the first time in, I don't know what, since World War II, or no, no, sorry, no. Um, the last time we had a draft was in Vietnam, right? Is that correct?
And then that's when like male citizens in the U.S. like it was mandatory. That was the last time when it was mandatory, and then
Hmm.
the last I think the biggest like war the U.S. was involved was Afghanistan, which they just withdrew like last year.
Yeah, that was not a draft, though. There's no draft for that. But I just had a question. So you being in the military, what is your insight into how like a draft would work? Like because I don't know anything. Me just turning 35 a few weeks ago. I'm
Oh,
right. I'm
happy
literally
birthday!
right at the oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm right at the cutoff age. So I wouldn't. I'm not. I'm guessing I wouldn't be drafted or what I mean, be obligated to serve if that came to that. But I don't know anything about how that process would work. So what insight do you have into the draft and all that stuff?
Like like what's my thought on the draft?
Well, no, I mean, well, yeah, thoughts, but also I was just wondering, like, how would that work exactly? Do you have any insight into that? Like, how? I mean, if it ever came to that, I'm not saying it will, but I'm just saying hypothetically, if it did, what exactly would happen? You know what I mean? How would it unfold?
So it's like if we were to get drafted, right?
Yes, if the U.S. were to enact the draft again.
Well, I think the first thing is like it probably won't work the same way as like when they sent the U.S. troops like to the back in like after 9/11 when they sent the U.S. to the Iraq like for war on terror. It won't be as that easy like trying to send them to Russia like as compared to back then. But mm, I mean I just think it's a lot the way it works now is like different from back then, and,
Okay.
and it's like um it's it's like I mean there's a chance like if there's it's an actual it's like a real like emergency like they could need some of like the help from help for the US help they could ask the US for the help, but like it's like um it's like we do have like troops like who who are stationed in Ukraine. Some of my we call it the battle buddies.
Hmm.
Like I have some friends who stayed in Ukraine before. It was not like
Okay.
a it was not like a what's it called they weren't there was no like actual like like conflict involved with the U.S. in the Ukraine.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, things. Unfortunately, things have definitely taken a turn for the worst. And so, who knows what'll happen? But I kind of agree with you on that. I think the likelihood of the U.S. going to war and then having to enact the draft again, I think it's very unlikely. You know, I personally do. And again, I'm not this is Ambw channel, so I'm not trying to get all super political, but you are the first, I think, member of the arm of you're the first member of the armed forces that I've interviewed on this channel. So inevitably I kind of wanted to ask, to get your opinion on it. But yeah, again, everyone, I don't know likelihood of people watching from Russia or Ukraine, but if you are, I'm so sorry you're going through that, and I hope
Oh, it's all
that
good.
you're keeping safe and all that stuff. But that being said, um, anyway, we lost you. Okay, sorry. So just a couple more questions, because, like I said, I promise you this is going to be a shorter interview.
It's all good.
But so, are you familiar with what AIMW stands for? Do you know what that
It's
acronym
like
stands for?
Asian male black women.
Exactly. And do you have? I can't remember exactly where I found you. Maybe it was in one of the Facebook groups or something. But do you have any experience with AMBW at all?
Um, I I I haven't dated like someone who identifies black, but I do. I have dated someone outside of my ethnicity, like years back, and that was
Okay.
back when I was involved with it's like a couple of years ago. Like it used to be called AMWF.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm well aware of what that stands for too. Um,
Yeah.
I'm not sure all the people watching this will appreciate that, but it's all good. Um, but uh, but no, okay. Well, you know what? All right. So how about this? Let's ask this instead, right? Let's ask this question. You, as was dating outside your race difficult for you? And if it was, did you experience any sort of hardship or problems? You know, dating outside your race, or
Uh, Not like race particularly. I mean, may maybe just a little bit of like language barrier, and I mean that's about it. But I think back then it was um, like because especially like my first date was like 7 years older than me, so maybe
whew,
like that was a bit. I mean, it was a bit of a rarity. Like it's usually the dudes who are like way older than their their younger girlfriends who are after their money.
mhm. Well, that's cool, man. I mean, so how old were you when you did that?
I was 22.
Okay, so she was 29, right?
Yep. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Well, it's not too bad. I mean, you're still technically both in your 20s, but yeah, it's all right. I gone out with a girl. The biggest age difference for me was, it's even bigger than yours. It's like 60. It's like 16 years.
Wow.
Right, and I was 16 or 17. I was 30 or 31, and she was 46.
Wow.
All right, 46 or 47. But she was, yeah, she was nice though, man. She had she
Hmm.
was hot. She had a good body.
Nice.
Um, yeah, so that was fun. I mean, it was just fun. Yeah, I didn't really last that long, but it was fun. Had
Oh,
a
I
good
see.
time.
Oh,
Um, but yeah, I don't know. So to all the guys out there watching, try older women. Sometimes it works out. Sometimes older
oh
women
yeah.
like us. Usually, I mean, I found that's usually the case. Older women in general are more mature.
Oh
They
yeah.
tend to know what they want. They know what they're doing. And they tend not to waste their time. At least, for the most part.
It's
Um,
true.
all right, man. Well, one last thing, and then I'll let you go. So, Andy, what would be your advice to like all the women out there who are right interested in approaching Asian men? And when I say women, I mean non-Asian women, right? So that can mean black or white or Latina. Like,
Hmm.
what would be your advice? Because that's a question that I get asked a lot by
Oh,
women on
okay.
this channel. They're like, "How do I meet Asian guy? Like, what do I say? What do I do?" What would be your advice to them?
Well, so like depending on if they like whether it's like they're fresh off, whether they're fresh off the boat or they're like multiple generations. I mean they can't tell if there's like would be a language barrier, but maybe non-Asian like women can like. maybe I don't know. I'm not saying like they should like start like digging into like stuffs like K-pop like all of a sudden, but they can ask like if they know about like a BTS member, like because it's now a phenomenon these days. And then like they can also I mean just like how the you know males approach females, like maybe they can like shouldn't be afraid to ask like Asian men out.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I completely agree with everything you just said. It just sometimes it just takes a little bit of confidence, you know.
True.
That's all you need, really. It's not, it's not rocket science. You just need confidence. That's all. Anybody can do it, really. Um, all right, guys. Well, I'm gonna let Andy go. But again, man, thank you for your service.
Our
We
pleasure.
appreciate it. I don't get to say that often because I don't meet that many members in the army, so that's awesome. And to everyone at home, like, comment, subscribe. And also, before I forget, are you on social media? If people want to follow you, where can they find you?
Okay, so I have Facebook and Instagram, and I also leave my phone number and my email.
Okay, you don't have to leave your phone number. That's a little bit personal, but yeah, if so, um, but all right, guys. Well, you know what? I'm gonna end it right now. But I appreciate everybody. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe, smash that like button. I hate saying that, but I have to. Smash that like button, comment, subscribe if you are not already. More content is coming. I
Mm-hmm.
promise. And thank you, Andy. Thank you very much, and everyone at home.
Our pleasure.